Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Digital Media Made Easy with Miss B. Today I'm going to cover where to find the brush tools in Photoshop, how to change the size of your brush, how to use opacity. Also show you how to change the shape of your brush and also using the very cool Mandala tool in Photoshop. So you can find your brush tool one of two ways. You can find it on the toolbar, which I'm hovering it over it now. It looks just like a brush, and I will zoom in for you just a little bit. Just to let you know, there's other brush tools underneath this. You would just want the regular old brush tool. If you right click on this icon, you can change it back to brush tool if you need to. Or another way to get to the brush tool is to simply hit B as in boy on your keyboard. So B is the shortcut key for the brush tool. You change the size of your brush up here in the top left-hand corner. You can click this tiny little arrow and I'm going to zoom in for you. This size indicator right here, you will change the size and it's measured in pixels, and you can see up at the top there that my brush is changing the size. I'm going to just put it somewhere right in the middle. This is the hardness of your brush. So the hardness at 100%, it will make a sharp and crisp mark, and I'm going to show you an example of that. So over here is a nice sharp and crisp mark. Sometimes you want a soft and fuzzy mark, so you can change that hardness back down to 0 and it will make it nice and fuzzy. And I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger so you can actually see it better. So if I click over here somewhere in the gray area, it will get rid of that screen. Another way to increase the size of your brush is to hit the bracket keys. You can find the bracket keys are underneath the plus minus sign. So you can make that brush bigger or smaller by hitting the bracket keys. I do that all the time just because I'm often in a hurry and I don't want to go way up here and change the size of my brush. Okay, so I'll show you that the hardness set to 100 again. So there we go. So that is changing the size and the hardness of your brush. You can also, there's other functions that you can use with the brush tool. There's opacity. Sometimes you just want maybe a lighter version of the color you have. So if you hover above the word opacity, you will you can just start dragging across that and it will change the opacity. So you can see it changed it to a lighter blue. If I change this all the way down to 21%, let's see what happens. So interesting effects using that opacity, kind of sort of looking like bubbles. I'm going to hit Control Z on my keyboard. This is undo in Photoshop. So hit that several times. Changing the shape of your brush tool, that is also up here, right where you change the size and the hardness. There are several brush presets that are already loaded in here. They are organized by folders. So you can see right up here under general brushes, these are just regular old brushes. We got some that are softer or some that are more harder, sharp and crisp. So if we click the little arrows, that will hide either hide or reveal your brushes. So under dry media brushes, there's all kinds of interesting things going on here. This is a little speckle. Here, we'll give you a little demo of that. So I'm going to make my brush bigger so you can actually see what I'm doing. And you can see that it turns. You can also change the size and the opacity and the hardness of this brush as well. So lots of things to do. One of my favorite brushes is down here. I really love, there's a snakeskin brush, and that one's really a lot of fun to use. As you can see, there's lots of different folders, and you can actually make more folders. If you have some favorite brushes, you can do that to keep yourself organized. So you can see I've already made a folder here. Miss B's favorite brushes. Okay, so here's that snakeskin brush I was telling you about. So that one's a lot of fun. Sorry, we got to get rid of that. Always have to click off in the top. That's sort of a little bit frustrating sometimes. All right, so it sort of looks like a snake skin. Okay, you can go ahead and click and drag to make a long line if you want to. I can change the size. I can make it bigger. I can change the opacity. For some reason, I can never say that word. Sorry about that. Okay, so how do we create a folder to stay organized? You can create more folders by clicking on this plus sign over here. I'm sorry, that's not what I meant to do. You actually need to click on this little gear icon, and you're going to click on new brush group. So you click on that, and then you can just name it whatever you want. If you know how to spell. I have a problem with that apparently. So you can click on that, and then it will appear over here in your brushes. Looks like it will appear at the very top. So there it is. And then you can add your favorite brushes here. You literally just click and drag into that folder. And that's one great way to keep yourself organized. If you use brushes a lot, you can create those folders. That way you can find your brushes very quickly. All right, so go ahead and click Control Z again. I'm just stomping down on that Control Z, getting rid of all these brush marks, maybe. Okay. I'm going to hit X, and then it's going to toggle my colors back here. So when you have the brush tool, you can toggle your colors by hitting X. I just hit white so I can get rid of these marks here. Don't know why my Control Z is not working. Okay. All right, so apparently those little marks did not want to go away. So I'm going to show you the very cool Mandala tool. It is over here. It looks like a butterfly. And if you click on this, there are all kinds of interesting tools. Basically what happens is when you have these marks, and then you have the brush tool and you make a mark on the lines that it creates, it basically duplicates the lines in several different places. So all of these are a lot of fun to play around with, but the one I really love is the Mandala tool. So click on that, and then I'm going to change my segment count to 10, click OK, and it creates this sort of almost like a little semi-snowflake. It's going to be a snowflake very soon. So I'm going to make that bigger. So I'm going to fill out my whole entire artboard, and then I'm going to go ahead and switch my colors. What key was that? That's right, X. Okay, so hit X on the keyboard. And first you have to commit this. Here we go. I always forget to do that. Okay, so I'm going to hit X. I'm going to switch my colors. Okay, so it was white and it's blue. And I'm going to make my brush smaller by hitting the bracket key. I think having the hardness set to 100 is best for this. So I'm going to double check that. It looks like it's already set to 100. Okay, make my brush a little bit smaller. So as I click and drag, I forgot I have the snake skin brush. Very cool. So as I click and drag on these marks, it will it basically duplicates the marks as for however many of these lines you have, it duplicates them. You can change the color, and obviously you can change your brush. Okay, so if you want to change the color of your brush, you just simply click on the swatch here, and then this will pop up. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a different color. I'm going to grab an orange. Okay, and now I can make some different marks. If I want to grab a different brush, maybe I don't want the snakeskin brush for this. I actually have never used the snakeskin brush for this, so this looks pretty cool, but this is what it looks like if you have just a regular old brush. And I actually think this works really well when you have a small, tiny brush. I've seen some students do some really amazing things when they just keep making multiple lines. So this is slightly mesmerizing and addicting, so very cool. You can even click out here and they'll still replicate those marks all over. So that is it for brushes part 1. Please see my other video on brushes part 2. This for my YouTube channel, Adobe Made Easy with Miss B. Nice.